Hello friends, how are you doing today? So in this video, I'm going to share a new form, or you can call it a web application built with AppScript. So here, as you can see, this is a final product, and I have a shopping cart here. So in this shopping cart application, you can add some information, the basic information here I call common items here about yourself. So you can enter your name here and email address, phone, just information like this, like you're trying to buy something from a shop or store. Okay, so on the right of the application here, you can see I have repeat items here. So basically, these items you can add multiple items to this form and put the items in your order. So here I have some examples here like iPhone, iPad, iMac. So you can choose the items you want from this dropping down list here. And let's try to choose the iPhone here. And you can give this quantity. So one iPhone. So the price of this item is 4,000. So this total price here is 4,000. And then you got a total quantity and selected items here. So maybe you already noticed here we have a plus button here to add a new item, and then you also have a minus button here to remove an item. Since we at least to have one item here, so this remove button is disabled here, but you can add one here. So I just added a new item here, and here right now you can remove it and you can add it back. Right, so let's try to choose another one. Let's try to choose iPad. Remember the item number, so this item number is 001 and this one is 002. And let's try to give a number of 2. And I got total 3 items here and 2 selected. And the total price 10,000. Right, so this is items I like to choose. And now let's get add some common items here for the basic information. So let's say name, apple at Gmail. Just put some fake data here, okay. Address is, let's say, so for this country here, it's auto-completion, so you can do some search here for the countries. Right, so let's try to Japan, and this is zip code. Let's put some fake data here. So just complete the form, and now we can submit this form. So let's try to submit. All right, so it's success. So all the items are cleared in the form, and if I go back to the backend, so this spreadsheet. As you can see here, I just add an iPad, which is item 001, and sorry, this 001 is iPhone, and this iPad is 002, item 002, okay? 2 pieces for the iPad, 1 piece for the iPhone, and all the basic information, as you can see here, I added for Apple, and all of this information are the common items in this from this tab, okay? So as you can see here, I just combined 2 sections together in these responses, and I also added some information like the order number. You also can use it for an invoice number or something like that, or sales order number. So you can configure this order number here. I will show you how to do it later, but this is order number or some other number, invoice number you'd like to use for your business, okay? So basically this order, so if you choose 2 items for the order, you should have 2 lines, like this one example. For the order 05, we have 2 lines, and if you can see here for this test, I have 3 lines for this order. So basically you can use this order number to find out all of the items for the single for one single order. Okay, so this is a way we are trying to handle multiple items in one order. So I think this could be a very useful tool for some of you who want to manage the small business with AppScript or with a Google Sheet. Okay, so if you want it to have a form like this, maybe you can use this one. Okay, so let me show you what you can do. All right, so basically this time I decided to move a lot of setup from the code to the spreadsheet. Okay, so so you can do a lot of customization for this form. So first of all, let me show you. I have a app name. So here is a shopping cart, and let me show you. You can change the name here. So you can just add a comment here. You can change the app name here. So in this sheet here, app data, don't change the sheet name here. Okay, I use this as a reference in the code. So you don't change the keys, but you can change the values here. So let me show you. I just add a comment here to the shopping cart. So if I refresh this web app, as you can see, this app name, this title for this website is updated, and you also should have updated an app name for your form. Okay, so this is the first thing you can do. And for this kind of stuff here, let's say we have a common items here, which is a reference to this spreadsheet, and this common item is also use it here for the section A, for this first section here. Okay, so if I like to change it to something else, like let's keep the common items here, and let's put your info. So let's say we try to collect some information from your client, sorry, from a customer. Okay, I think I did something wrong here. This should be the phone, is the key. Okay, so I think I just renamed this. Let's try to do your information. You can remove the common items. So once you change this sheet, remember you need to do some change here. So let's just copy this to here. Let's just copy the value here. So basically, I changed the reference from common items to common items dash your information. And if I refresh this web application, I should have this new data rendered at the front end. Okay, so now as you can see here, common items, your information. So I leave it here because I'd like to link this, because this key is sheet name common items here. So if I remove it, you maybe cannot remember what the link between this key to this value. Okay, so in your example, you can remove it, and you can rename this whatever you want. All right, so it's the same for the repeat items. So let's say your choose product. All right, so the idea is very similar like this. And this is a sheet name. So basically these 4 items are the link, let me highlight to red, are the link to this spreadsheet. So this is the first one, second one, and this is for items for your product. Okay, as you can see here, I defined 5 products here, iPhone, iPad, so things like this. So for your application, you may have different products, so you need to rename all of these, and you should have a real price for your product. All right, so this for key is very important. So remember, if you changed the sheet name here, you need to make sure this is equal to the sheet name you renamed. Okay, So this is for items. Maybe you need to rename it to product or something like that. So you can change it here. So this is a product. I just name original name is item. So items. So I just keep it here. So let me show you. Because I renamed this, so I also need to rename here. So make sure this is exactly the same with this. Okay, so if I refresh it again, I should be able to see the change at the front end. As you can see here, repeat items, choose products. So this is how you update the very simple stuff here from the backend stuff, and you can change it very quickly. And you don't need to touch any code, okay? All right, so let's go to the footer. So if you want to change something at the footer here, you can replace it at the back end here. So this is for the footer text, and this is for your company name. You can replace it, and this three is related to the items in the responses. So as you can see here, I have 3 columns at the beginning here. They're actually not from the form. Okay, in the form we don't have the UID, timestamp, and order number. We don't have them in the form because they're generated by the script. So this is the header. So for this header, this is the key for the column. All right, and if you'd like to choose another key, you can rename it here. So for this UID, maybe you prefer another column header. Maybe you can choose to ID. You need to rename it here. Okay. So this is UID, and once you change this ID, you also need to update this. Okay, make sure to update this to ID2 or whatever else you rename it, just to make sure this header is equal to this value you defined here. Okay, so for now they're exactly the same with all of these 3 columns. All right, so let's go to the last 2. You can define, so for the order number here, I give the order number a prefix order number, so I give it order dash as the prefix, and the length of the order number is 10. So if you go to the order number here, so this is the prefix you defined, and this is the length of the digit for your order number. Okay, so it's very easy to set it up. Okay, so this is the basic information you can set up. All right, and the most important stuff, and I think you can do, is you can customize your form. As you can see here, so this tab, this yellow, not yellow, I don't think this is orange color here. So for this common items here, the information will from the name to zip. Okay, so all of this information depends on how you set up these common items. Okay, so this basically this is set up for the form. So let's say here I have let's say what if we try to add another input field for the common items. Let's say we like to add a gender input behind the email. So let's just insert a row here. Let's just add a gender and the label for the gender, and this icon. Okay, you can pick the icons from this website. Okay, so let's click this link and open this website, and you should be able to search some icons for your. So basically, this one I think is for gender. Try to search gender, and let's pick which one. Let's try to pick this one. So it's copied already, and put it here. And so for this gender, I'd like to do it like a drop down. So I pick it here. So for single, so this single is basically the select, the single select. Okay, so for single select, you need to have some items for people to choose. So here, I'd like to choose to female and male, and you can add more items here. All right, so this is for the, I just add a gender input for the form. So right now it's not here. So if I refresh this page, I should be able to have a new input field. All right, let's wait a little bit. So basically, you can have, so for select, you also can use this autocomplete. If you have a long list for this autocomplete, you can do a search, okay? For this single, you only can select, you cannot search. So that's the only difference, right? For single and autocomplete, you need to have these items, okay? So let me share. Okay, now we have this gender here. So basically, this is how you customize your form. You can remove items, you can add new items to this tab, to this spreadsheet. So basically, this is the backend for this part, okay, for this section on the left, and this one on the right section here is customized by this part. So this is for this return. So maybe I like to add something else here. Let's say item quantity, add something else like what is it? Bonus or something else. Let's give it as a number, right? I think let me refresh this. Let's see what happened. I hope everything okay. So I just add a bonus here, as you can see. So this basically almost everything you can do for the section A and the section B. So this section A is just for common items, and this is for the items they are repeated, and you can add multiple of them to your form. And the last thing here, as you can see here, for the repeat items here, for the first one, I used autocomplete, and here is not a list of a comma separated. It's items which is linked to another spreadsheet, which is linked to these items. So I probably should use another name for this because there is items here and another item is here. So maybe you can choose products and rename this sheet to products. And you also need to rename this to products, okay? So this is how you update it here. So basically this auto-completion, the items for this autocomplete is from the items here. So let's say if I like to add a new item here. So right now I only have 5 items here. As you can see here, iPhone, iPad, iMac, HomePod Mini, and HomePod. Let's say we try to add item 6, and let's do what is it? Apple TV. Okay, let's try to do 800. So this is how you add a new item here. So if I refresh this page, I should be able to see the Apple TV here as a 6th item. So you can have a long list of products right here. As you can see, I have Apple TV here, and this is item number. You could use it part number. I don't change this key, okay? So this key, don't change it. But you can have other numbers for your items, okay? So you can input a part number for your products and the description of your product and the real price for your product. And at the front end, your customer should be able to see the correct product they'd like to choose. All right, so let's try to add an up DV here, and let's try to order two. Let's test if this bonus will work or not. Let's try to add a 1 here. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not because I didn't test it. Okay, so let's do a live test. All right, let's put my email address here. Let's hope this will work. Address. Okay, so let's try it. Let's try to do the submission here. All right, looks fine. It's green. All right, let's close this. Let's check the backend. As you can see here, I added the gender here as the male, and the bonus is 1. So it's working, but as you you'll maybe or notice that this is added to the end of the columns. Okay, so you can remove it to the position you like. Okay, so if you'd like to reposition this to after email, so the position of this column doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter where you put these columns. So let's try to do another test again to make sure this is working. So test gender, address, country, let's this time to France, zip code 222. I don't know what is the zip code for France. Let's try to choose home port for 2. Let's try to add another iMac for 1, 0. So let's try to submit. All right, as you can see, the gender and the bonus. I think the 0 is not added here. I think it's empty. A small issue to need to be fixed. All right, so it looks like everything just works fine. Okay, so and I think that's almost everything I'd like to share. So if you don't want to type the code, I think that's it for this video. Okay, so you don't need to worry about any code. You only need to make a copy of this file to your Google Drive, and you need to deploy it as a web application, and you should be able to use it. So to deploy it, go to Tools, Script Editor. So you only need to do is use this button to deploy new deployment and choose web application. So for the first time, you may not see the web app here, so you can choose here from this gear button and choose web application and give a description of this web app. So let's try to do ready for YouTube. All right, let's try to deploy it. So I'd like to remove this gender and this one. So if you remove it here, you also need to remove it from here for this gender and this one for the bonus. So I remove it because after you make a copy of this file, you can use it to from the start of this video, so you can follow up. Okay, because at the very beginning of this video, you don't see these two items in this form, okay? So for the items here, I don't have this Apple TV here. I also remove it. So for the name here, let's try to change it back to the original, the initial status, all right? And also remember, make sure all of this. So of course, all of these settings can be done in the script, but for the people they don't know how to code, and it may be very difficult for them to read the code and to find the correct place to replace the code. Okay, so this is why I decided to do stuff like this. So you can do the configuration in the spreadsheet as a backend, and your front end can be refreshed and without touching the code. So let's try to refresh. By the way, I'm using a library called Beautify, okay, to build this tool. So if you know Vue, you should be able to use it. If you don't know Vue, it could be an issue. All right. So let's just, of course, if you'd like to check the code for you who will be interested in the code, as you can see here, I can have a very quick go through for my code here. Okay, so in this file, this .js, gas.js file is all the Google App Script code for this project. Basically, I have an app class here to handle all the data. Okay, so the data transfer from the backend to front end, and the data transfer from front end to backend all handled here. Okay, in this gas.js file. So this is a function. This submit function is to collect data from the front end and save the data to the backend. And this one, this get update is a function is to collect all of these backend settings from the spreadsheet and pass it to the front end. So this is the core functions. This one and this one. I think this to get function. All right, so I don't want to explain this because looks like a mess. So if you'd like to dig more about this project, you can check this class. All right, so let's just keep it simple. And next one I'd like to share is this one. So this index.html. So if you can see here, I'm using this index as an interface for this. Basically, I'm going to return this index page for this application. So this is the interface for the front end. Okay, so let's see what's in this index. So here you have all this style sheet for the Beautify. This is from Beautify, okay, from Beautify, and this one is also from Beautify, and this one is from css.html. So it's in this file. So if you'd like to do some customization for your application, maybe you need to change some color, you can do it here. You can add some your custom CSS code here, right? So let's go back to the index. And for this body section, I only have a div here for the app, and I'm going to insert this app.html file here, right? And the last three sections are JavaScript. So this is from Beautify. So basically, this is from Beautify. This also from the Beautify. So the last one is the code. The Vue.js code, I use it for this script. So basically this is the front end JavaScript, right? And this one is the back end. Okay, so this Vue.js is a front end JavaScript. So if you go to the app, you can see here this app, we have a header, we have a main function, main section here. You also have the footer, also have a snack bar. So this is structure of this app. And you can see here what's wrong with it. You have a header and a footer, and this is your main body here. And the snack bar is just for notification. Okay, so this is the app.html. And footer, this is the footer. This is snack bar. But of course, you can put all of this stuff in one file. But this is just an example. So you can, if you have a large application, this could be a better way to manage your application. Okay, to manage your files. If you put all of them in one single file, your file will be look like this. Look like this one. If I open this, it should be like this. It's a headache if you check it later. Okay, after three days, I'd like to say. All right, so I think that's almost it. Okay, this is the front end. By the way, I didn't put these links to the backend. All right, if you'd like to change these icons here, not icons, because these links here, use your own links. You need to change the URL here. Okay, maybe you have a YouTube link and a Twitter link. You can replace this URL with yours. Okay, so which I didn't do it in the backend. It will use some time. You also, of course, you can try to do it as a exercise for yourself. Okay, so I think that's it for today's video. All right. I think I'd like to highlight something here. I didn't do form validations here because form validation is a headache because different people may have different requirement for their form, so it will be very difficult to do a form validation for a common requirement. Okay, so that's why I didn't do it. And of course, for the real project, we have to use it. But I released this video just to share you the idea how to do it. Okay, so maybe you can add some code to my project and to add the form validation for your project, right? So I think that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.